Hey everyone, I am going to try to walk you through your grammar homework for tomorrow. This is a new format I have learned about, and I'm hoping it will help you to understand the assignment a little bit better. Today we're going to be talking about verbs. A verb can be an action or a state of being. And if it has more than one word, it's a verb phrase. Every complete sentence has at least one verb or verb phrase. The music was loud. That's a state of being verb. The villagers were dancing. That's an action verb. In an action verb, the action can be passed to a person or to things, and then that is called the direct object. They're receiving the action. It has to be an action verb to have a direct object. The villagers were dancing is the verb, and polka is receiving the action. That's what's being danced. So this is the object. We call it the direct object. A linking verb, state of being verb, does not ever have an object, but it is used to link as something descriptive afterwards. So in this case, the word loud is describing the music. So this is a linking verb, and this is an adjective describing the music. This says the same thing, but it's showing them in different ways. The dance was a polka. The polka is renaming dance. It's an so it is a noun. The dance was charming. This is describing the dance. This is an adjective. The dance was in a musical. This is not linking. This is just explaining. It's just a prepositional phrase. Helping verbs or auxiliary verbs are words like can, must, will, could, should. The dancers must practice regularly, and you use them with an action verb. Okay, so here's this assignment, underlining the verbs and verb phrases. You can read the directions. Also, every verb has principal parts. Present tense, I call my mother. Past tense, I called my mother. And then the past participle is the past tense form with either has or have, depending on the subject. He has called his mother 5 times. I have called my mother 5 times. It would use have if you're using the word I. The way you do the past participle is, again, past tense, you add ed most of the time, like called and married, but sometimes it's a different form. The past tense of meet is met. The past tense of sing is sang. And so then the past participle, it can be different. Has met is this, you just add has, but for sang, you have to change the verb as well, has sung or have sung. They're irregular, and you just really have to memorize those and know them. There's not a simple way to know the irregular ones except by learning them from practice. And then the be verbs, be, do, and have, are also irregular. Present tense for be is was and were. The past participle is, present tense is be, past is was and were, and past participle is has been. For the word do, it's do, did, has done, and for have, it's have, had, has, had. Okay, so here you're going to underline the verb phrases and identify them as the past tense or PP for a past participle. And then you're going to also write, that's the first blank. This blank you're going to write are if it's regular or I if it is irregular in this second blank. Okay? Now, we're going to talk about active and passive voice. Active voice is when the subject does the action. The test pilots have flown. They did the action. That is active voice. In passive voice, the action is done in the predicate. It's after the verb. This experimental plane was flown is the action. Did the plane do the flying? No, the test pilots did. So this is the who did the flying. So this is called passive voice, and that's when the subject does not do the action. So when you have passive verb, it's always going to be the past participle with a helping verb like are or will be or was. Okay, so on this one, you're going to write A if it's active or P if it's passive voice. And then write original sentences here. Here's just a review page. All right, now let's talk about the tenses of verbs. Three simple tenses. Present, this is what happens now. Past, happened in the past, usually just adding ed. And then future, you add will, or will talk, usually has will. Almost all verbs, the present tense is going to follow this format. For I and you, the verb stays the same, but for she or he, it's once. We want, they want. I have, you have, he has, she has. We have, they have. I am, for be, it's I am, you are, it is, we are, they are. So past tense, it's words, things that have already happened. Future tense, things that will happen in the future. Here you are going to identify present, past, or future for the verbs that are underlined. And then progressive tense. Progressive tense is an action that continues for some time. And in a progressive tense, you have to have two words, a form of be and then the present participle. The present participle is formed by using the verb and then adding ing. And unless it's the form of be and then it's am, is, are, and these different ones. So who is calling at this hour? That's present progressive. I was sleeping. That is past progressive. I will be coming. That is future progressive. Ing at the end of every verb and then one of these helpers. Okay, so do this section. And then one more thing with progressive, with tenses of verbs, you have to make sure that you use the correct, let me back up here. Yeah, that was right, sorry. You have to make sure that the tenses are the same. You can't talk about future tense and present tense when you're talking about the same happening at the same time. So you're going to use simple tense if it's a limited time, one-time thing, not ongoing. After Jim parked the car, that's past. He went into the restaurant. Both of these are past. If they both continue for some time, that's the progressive tense, and you use the ing verbs. The diners were talking as they were waiting to be served. Both are past progressive. But if one action continues and the other does not, you can use different tenses. So for example, the waitress was pouring, that's past, when someone bumped her. That is just regular past. So you can combine them when there's limited action. Okay, so check this out, and then here's another checkup page. So see if that helps you some in doing these assignments, and I'm getting ready to send it out. Let me know if this is helpful, and we'll continue doing it.